what are we doing?
And I started laughing.
What? Can I, I'm really asking you guys, what is this franchise doing? Welcome to another episode of the Creature Popcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Lindsay.
And today we are fulfilling our second Roll for Parts mandate with 2025's Final Destination, Bloodlines, a movie so fresh out of the theater that I want to claim its rental as a business expense on our tax return. Spent too much money to watch this, Lindsay. This was written by Guy Busick, who wrote Ready or Not and the newest batch of Scream movies, I think 6 and 7, and directed by Zach Lipovsky and Adam Stein. This is the sixth film in the Final Destination franchise. Lindsay, let's go look. This thing is just...
You normally have more to say.
And I don't.
Should we just... Hopefully everyone's seen the first Final Destination, but should we... The first one, Devon Sawa.
Yeah.
They're kids in high school, and they're going on a class trip, and they're on the plane. Mm-hmm. He has an image that the plane crashes, freaks out, gets a few people off the plane, and then the plane does crash and they die, and then it's the whole thing where they find out they were all supposed to die on there, and death is after them in the order they were supposed to die in the plane, and then there's been several, they all fall and they die in the craziest ways. So
the basic conceit is that
Cheat death.
In the terms of the franchise, visionaries, because in every single one of these, someone has a vision of the impending disaster, and the visionary saves a group of people. Death then comes for them, like you said, in the order. I don't think that this makes sense. That I think death is not the problem in these movies because it doesn't make any fucking sense. I keep waiting for these movies. You know what, Lindsay?
Okay.
death
now.
Once the soul's it's owed. But here's the question: who decides that those souls are owed?
Death.
No, death is a victim here.
Yeah, I was death has to reap them because they're destined to die. But who's deciding
so there's a fate involved here.
That's what I
their
would
time
say.
to die.
It is more fate than anything.
Which is what all of our mythology says.
More luck
than
than anything. In this one in particular, there's a penny motif. So a lucky penny or a bad penny turning up. This whole movie literally spins on a penny.
Yeah,
literally.
it does.
But what I want to say is that after 6 of these fucking movies, death is everywhere all the time. It's not like he's taking a holiday and he's only after these guys that got away.
No.
This franchise is ruled by an idiot trickster god. And I keep waiting for one of these movies to be like, we found it. It's a demon that just likes fucking with people. Because that makes more sense than death itself as being...
Well, I mean, you have to deconstruct to the point of like, okay, if death has a plan, or whoever has a plan, this trickster god has a plan, or fate, or whatever, somebody's also giving the visionaries the visions to fight it. And if it's possible to fight it, why are they...
But what we learned is it's not possible to fight.
Yeah, because
why are we... Why is this...
In every movie, they've never won. No one's ever won.
In fact...
one person.
And one person does.
We'll
talk about it. She's not in this movie.
The girl from the first one, right?
Second.
Second movie.
It's not Devon Sawa's girlfriend?
No, she dies. Third movie, I think.
She's mentioned in this one in a stupid way.
No, she wasn't. Clear Rivers was?
Yeah.
Are you seriously? I didn't clock that. I think
I saw the first one,
great.
and I saw the second
one.
Because
that hospital's Hope Rivers, or Hope something, but...
And then in the second one, Devon Sawa wasn't in it, and then
Ali Larder, Clear Rivers goes from the first to the second, but she doesn't survive. A character named Kimberly Corman survives, and...
We talk about her in this movie.
And then we talk about it. We don't name her, I don't think.
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay, cool.
So they're just like one person got out.
Yeah, and they try to do her.
Death
hates this one easy trick.
Okay, we're giving away too much. Let's start over, okay? Okay,
let's just get into it.
Yeah,
let's just go from the top.
Mentally scar me.
Okay, so we're backing up some train tracks.
Yeah, we're on the railroad tracks.
Yes, and then we see an old red car drive over, and inside a couple who's obviously in some sort of mid-century dress, and we realize we're back in time.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm looking at the cars around. I'm like, we're in the 60s.
We're in the 60s, yeah. So she has a blindfold on, the girl, and is asking for hints, and then they pull up in front of the Skyview restaurant. Which is looks like a space needle.
When I saw the trailer, I thought it was a space needle, but this is fictional. It's called the Skyview Tower, and there's more needles around this country and Canada than I thought. This is closest to something called the Skylon Tower in Ontario and Niagara Falls. It has a very similar elevator restaurant type
not
situation.
ever get up that terrifies me.
It looks frightening.
It's terrifying. Yeah.
But yeah, and also
neither.
the sun is setting over this thing. It's really a pretty scene.
It is pretty, but yeah.
The sun is setting, everything's golden light, and it's like the river below. It's not the ocean outside.
Right.
So
yeah. So as they're walking into the restaurant, a boy is stealing pennies from the fountain.
Yep.
And he is told by a valet or something to stop doing it, as that's bad luck to steal
luck.
pennies. So they get their picture taken, kind of like when you go to the carnival or something, and then they get into a very packed elevator that is glass fronted. And Iris is very weirded out about being the last person to be shoved into this elevator.
Yeah.
And as the elevator goes up, which this is another reason why I'm scared, you can see the glass doors kind of shake open a tiny bit, like a quarter of an inch or something.
the elevator valet goes, it does that sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, this is the opening night.
It's opening night of this restaurant.
The young man in the couple pulled strings to get here and do this.
Yes.
And she's immediately worried that they are below their station here.
Yes.
This is
She's not
incredibly,
dressed well
everybody
enough.
there is very fancy, well-to-do people.
Yes. So in the elevator, also, the operator tells them that they're super lucky because this whole construction was completed 5 months ahead of schedule.
And she's like, is that a good thing?
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
kind of funny.
Yeah, So then they get to the maitre d' and the reservation isn't there. Turns out that the strings that he pulled got fired that morning.
Yeah, his buddy got fired.
Yeah, so
he's not on the list.
He's not on the list. So they kind of sneak to the bar. And then Iris looks at the window and we learn her name is Iris, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. So the couple is Iris.
I didn't learn his name.
And he is Paul.
Paul.
Real quick, there's a ton of characters in this. There's not an actor that I recognize in this entire cast.
The only one I
other than
recognized
Tony
was
Todd,
Eric.
obviously. Okay.
Because I saw the 100. He's from the 100.
Okay. So we're going to get their names. I might be hit or miss with their real names or actor names. I went through all their IMDb's. They have a weird commonality of they almost all are on some sort of Warner Brothers DC comic book TV shows.
Okay.
So they're all from The Flash or from Gotham Knights, whatever that is,
Sure.
or from...
Because they're all Canadian.
This girl who plays Iris is Stargirl. That had a couple seasons.
Sure.
So anyway,
Okay.
that's just getting that out of the way. We're just going to do names.
Okay. So...
If you want to know the actor's name, I might have it here. Who knows?
Sure. Well, so Iris gets vertigo as she's looking out the window, and so she asks where the bathroom is, and she crosses the glass-floored dance floor. So the dance floor is glass, and you can just see right down to the ground. Yeah.
And of course, we're doing Final Destination shit just right out the gate.
Right out the gate.
We're clocking a flambe dessert having a bunch of flame. We're watching a guy crack a creme brulee because that's going to be a thing. We're watching people dance on this glass floor, and below, outside of it, the rivets are shaking, and you're just like, fuck this everything is, it's
Terrifying.
a death trap.
Yeah. So as she passes the dance floor, a crystal from the chandelier breaks off and falls and cracks the glass.
Yeah, of course.
Just a little tiny, when you get a rock on your windshield. Yeah, that kind of thing. Tiny crack.
It was knocked down earlier by a popping of a champagne cork. Yeah. So again,
it was loosened by the champagne cork.
And then
now
the dancing was shaking it.
So then we see Iris get sick, and we find out she's pregnant because the singer from the band who has her son with her sees her and asks her how far along she is. Yeah. So her boyfriend then brings her up to the observation deck. So on top of this round restaurant, there's an actual observation deck.
It's
so
like
even higher.
A big crow's nest.
Yeah. And he brings her up there.
You just saw her freak out because of heights, and you're like, but I'm going to take you outside and higher.
And then he asks her to marry him, and, of course, that's when she tells him she's pregnant and all that stuff.
And she's really scared, but he's, super into it. She thinks that he's going to be upset because of the pregnancy, and he's just like, we're starting a family.
Yeah. And then the ring he puts on her finger is tight. It's super tight.
Yeah, every goddamn thing in this movie has to have a meaning.
So then the boy who was stealing the pennies throws a penny off the observation deck. And instead of it going down, it gets sucked back into the ventilation shaft.
So a guard comes up and was like, whoa, don't throw that. You could kill someone. He's like, he's so contrite. And then as soon as the back is turned, he throws the penny. Now, the penny goes in slow motion to the screen and very clearly has a 1968 on it.
Does it?
So
okay.
That is, I guess, marking our
year. Yeah. So then it sticks into a fan inside of the ventilation shaft and holds it in place. So now the penny is holding the fan down.
The shots on this penny throughout the movie is just... It is.
Iris and
precision.
Paul, they're celebrating their engagement. They go to the dance floor, and they all are doing the twist on the glass.
It's a cool scene, actually.
Yeah.
The band's good.
They're great.
Everyone's dancing and looking hot, and they're doing the a little bit softer now, and everybody's getting lower. It looks like a real fun time.
Yeah, it does. So then the glass cracks more and more. The penny escapes the fan blade and takes the blade with it. And the blade, like, pierces a gas line.
So now, don't start snickering yet.
You only need one of these things to kill people. But
That
I guess
is my point.
I guess they're just setting it up because they're like, what do you think is going to happen?
Yes.
That's what it is. It's like, what's it going to be? So I haven't seen a final... I haven't seen one of these movies in I don't know how long.
Years and years.
Years and years and years.
When was the year of the last one?
I never saw The Final Destination.
When was 5? 5 was, it
was
like,
14
20...
years ago.
14? That's like 2010 or something,
This is the biggest gap between these movies. They usually came out every 2 or 3 years until now.
Okay.
I don't remember it being this, like, the whole world is, like, being toggled to catastrophically be destroying you.
It was like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I remember it more being like, oh, that could kill you. Oh, that could kill you.
No, but we got to remember, if you go back to the OG, it was an airplane, Michael. So, like, all of it was to take down an airplane. So it would have killed all this 100 of people that would have on there.
Yeah, but it's okay. I get that an airplane crashed.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a penny and a creme
all
brulee
of this is
and
just
a chandelier.
I know.
It's
They're
not like...
maybe going overboard, but who knows? So Iris's weird feeling is back, the one that she got in the elevator with. And so she starts, like, backing up off the glass. Her boyfriend's still there dancing, and she's just, like, weirded out. So then the glass floor breaks and everyone falls.
So another thing about this is I'm going to take the backseat here because I'm forgetting where we are in premonitions and where we are in actuality.
We are in the premonition still. So the glass floor breaks and everyone falls. Her boyfriend, he's like the only one who doesn't fall all the way through, and he's holding on to glass, not metal. He's holding on to glass, and it's cutting him. And she's like, reach for my hand, but she's like 3-4 feet away from him. There's no way. And he's like, don't come out here. And then he falls.
Oh,
he's the last one, yeah. And then chaos ensues. Everybody starts running and freaking out. And the singer, she hides her boy in a cart, like a waiter cart,
And this is the first of... So this is a pretty chill beginning. And once death starts happening, it is gory. Everyone explodes in blood. No one in this movie has bones. Everyone is a sack of bologna and blood.
Yeah.
There's just meat chunks and blood. So people, as they're falling out of this thing, are hitting things on the way down and just being like, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. So then the flambe guy, he got a flambe, everybody's freaking out and running, so he spills it on the back of a woman who's running, which then she runs towards the gas leak, which then explodes. So half the place is on fire now.
Everyone's on fire. This older woman came out of retirement for this stunt, and she says that she's the oldest woman to ever be on fire on screen.
That's amazing.
It looks terrifying.
That's amazing. Yeah. I love that. So they run for the stairs, which crumbles. So say 10 people go down to the stairs, and a little boy, the fucking rotten boy.
Shit boy.
He's the first in line, and everybody else just falls out of the side. Like the whole stairs just crumbles out of the side of the tower, and except for the little boy's on the other side of the stairs. So he's free.
He made it down far enough.
And Iris is on the other side.
And he pushed his way through because he's like, kids first.
Mm-hmm. So that crumbles. So then they run to the elevator, which overfills. And Iris gets knocked down, and she doesn't get onto the elevator. And then the elevator cable breaks because they overfilled it, and it just crashes.
Taking the man who is forcing himself in, forcing Iris out, he's in between the two, and he just turns into, like, meat pudding.
Yeah, it's gross.
It doesn't even bifurcate him. It just smooshes him down to nothing.
Yeah. So then everybody runs to the non-fire side of the circular room, and then it starts to break in half.
And it breaks in half.
But Iris is able to, like, crawl up to get over the crack to the part that's still attached. And, like, somebody steals her shoe because they're trying to grab her and stuff like that. But then that lady falls.
So everybody now, other than Iris that we can see right now, is basically laying
on the window.
Yeah. They're all looking down on their death below.
Right, and then we see the penny. The penny has come back into action, and it's like rolling from a chandelier or something onto a grand piano that's still on, like, a piece of wood that hasn't broken in half.
So the piano is just teetering there, and this goddamn penny is the thing that...
Yeah, it lands on the piano, and the whole thing goes through the window. Onto the rotten boy who just escaped the stairs.
Just don't step on it.
That is literally...
No, just don't step on it, because I want to take a moment.
Okay.
Last night, I'm watching this. You haven't seen it yet. You're in bed, and I'm up, and all you hear is me laugh and start clapping.
Yeah, I did. I had
because
I got up to see.
Boy got squished.
Piano breaks through the glass. All the people start falling out. We cut to the boy getting to the bottom of the steps.
Like,
and he goes, ha ha. And this fucking piano just annihilates him.
That is some Looney Tunes shit.
It is some Looney Tunes ass shit.
So then...
It was such a joy that I started clapping.
We did.
And then the penny rolls back into the fountain. And I'm like, perfect.
Might I remind you that in the 13 Ghost episode, you said, I love to see this kid get hurt?
I knew you were going to bring it up. This kid, 100%. So
let's talk about why you hate children.
Well, this kid is designed to suck ass. He's responsible for all this. He's laughing at everybody's death.
Not all of it.
He brought the penny up there.
But he didn't make the dance floor crack.
No.
I mean, technically, if you think about all of it, was because he stole the penny from the fountain, which caused the bad luck.
The idea is the penny needed to go. It's not death. It's this fucking penny.
It's an unlucky penny?
Yeah.
That's the villain?
It's an unlucky penny.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
what this is.
We'll get there, but yeah.
Oh my god.
This penny is not done yet. It is throughout this entire fucking movie.
Yeah,
it's in the fucking credits of this movie.
You guys heard of the horror movie Rubber?
Yeah.
That's just like a sentient tire that murders people.
Have you seen it?
I haven't.
It's so good.
I watched the trailer, and I'm getting the same feeling from this penny that I got from the trailer of Rubber. I was like, what the fuck is this tire so angry about?
Rubber is infinitely weirder. It is so weird. And I would do it for the podcast, but I think Lindsay would rage quit the movie.
That has happened before. Okay, so back in the movie. Okay, so the half of the building that had broken off and it was like hanging actually breaks up all the way and falls. The singer's boy gets out of the cabinet he was in and starts asking for help. So Iris like runs to go grab the boy, and then she's like running to get to the middle. So basically the entire circle has fallen. All you have is the tower part. And she is hanging on to the boy with one hand, and then her tight ring is like stuck on in between two nails.
Yeah, two pieces of like rebar.
Yeah, something.
So she's not even holding on to anything.
She's just hanging by this ring, which then
then her finger degloves.
Yeah, I was like, that's gonna rip your finger off.
You have a real like, we're gonna really watch this finger skin peel off. And
this is when I hold my phone in front of the screen as I take notes so I don't have to see it.
And they fall to their deaths.
And
then, not just subtle deaths. She's screaming and goes mouth first onto a spike.
She does.
Why?
So then,
it's so gratuitous.
Because it's Final Destination. So then the screaming wake-up scene, we are literally transposing that scream onto another character's scream who wakes up from a dream.
And this is very weird, because this is a first for this franchise where the vision is in the past, and she's not involved in
she's not involved in it. So she's like a woman who's in a lecture hall. She just woke up. She's in class.
The class is vector math.
Yes.
Which actually comes back in a stupid way later.
Yes, it is. So she had fallen asleep, and then her name is Stephanie Reyes, and her teacher has to talk to her. We find out she's on academic probation because she can't sleep because she has this dream every single night. Right. Every time she falls asleep, she has this dream.
For the past 2 months.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And she knows that her grandmother, who she's never met before, is named Iris.
Yeah.
So her roommate implores her to go home and figure out what this is about, because I'm going to kill you if you don't.
Yes.
Because she's keeping her awake also.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's the setup. She and Stephanie heads home.
Yeah. She drives home, and she asks Dad about some of Mom's old stuff, so we find out Mom's not around. And she tells him she wants to find Iris, and he's a little sketched out and says that he threw Mom's stuff out.
Yeah.
And so then Brother Charlie comes down the stairs. And he's like, I'm going to the cousin's house. And she's like, oh, I'm going to go with you. And Dad's like, dude, don't ask Uncle Howard about Iris.
Right. So the family dynamics are very important, and it took me a second to figure out. I mean, the movie does a fine enough job doing it, but basically, Mom left. And Uncle Howard is the sibling of Mom. Mm-hmm. So their mother is Iris.
Yes, correct.
So we get to the cousin's house.
We meet a bunch
of three more kids.
There's 3 more kids. They're looking for Paco.
They're all they're all, or early 20s.
Yeah, there's possibility that the boy, Bobby, might be a teenager, but the rest of them are in their 20s.
Yeah, they all look 20s. Like they're 21 and older.
Yeah.
You know, they're the fodder.
Yeah. So it seems like weirdly that one of the girl cousin Julia keeps cutting Stephanie off. You can tell that she doesn't like her.
Yeah, there's a riff.
Yeah, there's definitely a riff.
Eric is a video game playing, tattooed, pierced slacker.
Bobby looks like just a jock of some sort.
Boy, and he's running around really concerned because Paco's missing.
Paco's missing, yeah.
Which turns out to be a turtle.
Turtle, yeah.
And I thought it would, I'm like, well, I can't wait till this turtle, nothing happens with this
Nothing happens,
turtle.
I know, Paco's such a big deal. Yeah.
Paco's fine. Paco just disappears from the movie until the end.
So she goes to find her uncle and tells him about her dreams, and Uncle Howard tells her his mom was so obsessed with death and the ways that they could die that he and his sister were actually taken away by the state. Yeah, and put into foster care. And then mom stalked them all the way through foster care to their marriage,
sending
having kids.
them obituaries,
yeah,
like creepy
They
shit.
had to move and not give her the address just to have peace from their mom.
Right. So this is an incredibly well-off family. The house is huge. The backyard.
It's upper middle class.
Yeah, well, there's like okay, fine. But
it's
there's
upper
like
middle class.
a whole bar outside. It gave me your uncle and aunt vibes.
Sure.
There's a whole bar outside. We'll get to all of that. But this family's fine. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Uncle Howard, who seems like a nice guy, just like, that's my past. We kind of made good.
Stay away from Iris Campbell.
Just stay away from her. Don't dig up this stuff.
Yeah. So then she begs her aunt to help. And her aunt's like, don't look in the bottom drawer.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't look at the one place where the stuff is.
So then in that one drawer, Stephanie finds an address on an envelope that has the Skyview picture inside that Iris had taken with Paul. So then she drives there.
Right. So this movie's fine. It just keeps tippy canoeing into the most fucking bizarre choices. So Stephanie drives to
It's a compound surrounded by an abatis fortification.
It is a
which,
bunch,
if you don't know, is a bunch of stakes.
Your knowledge. You go from knives to like fortresses.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're saying.
So basically, she drives through these old growth forests.
Right, too many fantasy novels.
A giant clearing that there has a small-ish cabin-y cottage in the middle, but it's surrounded by sharpened pikes.
Stakes, yeah.
Pointed out, curled with barbed wire. There's fortifications of old tires. Everything is rusty metal. And I'm like, you are trying to hide from death, and there's nothing but weapons around.
Yeah, I know. That's the weird. That's the weird thing.
Wouldn't it be a pillow fort that you want to get into?
In the second one, didn't they find Allie Larder? Wasn't she in like an institution, like a paddock?
Yeah, she was. She was living in an institution to protect herself. So then she goes to the intercom, and Iris lets Stephanie in, but she's like, take everything out of your pocket. And, like, the intercom, like, pops open with, like, an actual drawer for her to put her phone, her keys in there.
Which seems like a weird thing for a person who doesn't have visitors.
Except for she has to. If she's never stepped out of that house in 20 years, she has to have grocery delivery.
That, but also...
medicine delivery.
This is what I'm saying. This is why the movie's so dumb. She's in this giant fortress, and I'm like, this woman has to have some sort of outside line. And if I'm your fucking Uber Eats driver, I'm not...
It's probably all JB, which we will find out later. Because he did say he helped her.
Fine, you're right.
Stephanie's like, I'm not dangerous. And Iris is like, it's not you I'm afraid of.
Right.
So the compound is full of defenses, like, and I looked this one up. It's called a chevaux de frise. Yeah. And it's the X's, the pikes that are like a big row of X's like you see in like World War II.
Like they're on beaches for ships and stuff.
Yeah, so I looked that one up because I didn't know that one's name. And then she has like pots and pans hanging on strings. She's got like pools of water.
Oh, there is a pond. There's like a muddy giant water pond
there's
outside.
Just all this
that'll come up later.
Stuff going on in this yard. So Iris lets her into the house, but is very controlling about where she stands and sits and all that stuff. And
this is pretty funny.
Right. Stephanie tells her about the dream. And Iris tells her about the premonition she had at the restaurant and then what she did after. So we go back in the past again.
Yeah.
And we go to exactly where Paul asks her to marry him on the
crow's nest.
Crow's nest, thank you. And then she goes to the rotten boy and wrangles the penny out of his hand. And then she runs downstairs to the microphone from the singer and tells them that the glass is about to break. She at least gets through to them all and they all get off the glass. And she saved a lot of lives, and the restaurant was actually it was closed for renovations and then never reopened.
They just didn't reopen it.
Yeah.
So everyone in that whole place lived.
Which was a lot of people, a couple hundred people. Yeah, they all lived. Iris tells Stephanie how Death doesn't like his plans being thwarted. And he basically came after everyone that was there that night in the order that they died.
Right.
And she learned to see him coming and managed to stay safe. And when the universe speaks, you listen.
Yes. Now, a couple questions I have.
Okay.
I mean, it comes up later, so maybe I'll wait when Stephanie kind of tries to reveal this. But why did it take so long for Death to go through this?
So it sounds like...
because everyone had the opportunity to have families, which is why...
Because there were hundreds of people.
Bloodlines
It went after... For some reason, it's acting like that the Death is a human being. Yeah. And it has to singularly go... I guess because Death already has its normal job where it has to kill all the other people. And now it has this overtime job.
Death is busy, Michael. It's got a lot of...
And now it's got this extra job of chasing down everybody that should have died. And so it's got to go one at a time. And by the time it gets to, like, say, 50... Well, all the rest of the 150 people have all
had families.
Have a baby.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Then it has to do baby,
now it's got to
kill
and
it keeps getting grower and grower, bigger and bigger. Yeah,
so
because
really,
it's all being done on its overtime. Because Death only works from 8 to 5.
Exactly. Death needs to set up little like.
Death observes the Sabbath.
It also can't just like call lightning out of the sky. It has to set up a Rube Goldberg machine in order to get you.
Well, because it has to seem natural. Or an accident.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, like, see, here's the thing that gets me. Is, like, eventually,
no one's ever accused Lightning of murder.
We eventually find out that Iris is dying of cancer, okay? So, like, why doesn't Death just use cancer for everyone that escapes? Because
he's using cancer for 2 people in this movie.
I know.
One of it kind of callously.
Yeah, okay, we'll get there.
Well, I think there was always sort of a punishment thing to it because Death doesn't like when you disrupt its plans. So then it doubles down.
So 2 things are happening right here.
Although that means that, like, why the origin Death, why was that one so unnecessarily gory? I can see going past it, like, everybody that's still alive, he's like, now I'm pissed off because, like, in the first one, it made sense. They were supposed to die in a plane crash. That's relatively, boom and done. And he was like, now I'm going to fucking
like Death plays
torture you.
All the time.
That's why I said I don't think this is Death. I want these movies to reveal that this is a weird-ass Lovecraftian trickster god that just loves to fuck with people.
Right.
That makes more sense.
Which makes sense why... a fucking penny has anything to do with it.
And poor Death is just being framed. He's like, I have to do my job.
Or also, Death isn't personified.
I mean,
it comes for everyone all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about Death in this movie as if it's something you could possibly beat. And I'm like, y'all are going to die.
Yeah.
We have 100% of the time died.
Well, that's why I think it's, especially in the first one, and now it starts with, like, young people, because you're like, oh, they still have their whole life to live for. It doesn't start with a group of, like, 95-year-olds. Right. Their retirement community is going on a vacation.
And this, as the franchise went on, it did play around with some ideas of how, which we'll get to, and it does talk about, like, there's a baby thing earlier in this that is, I think, was kind of funny.
It was funny, but yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there.
Right now, there's a funny thing where she's telling this story, and in the room, like a
magnifying glass.
A magnifying glass has tilted. Sunlight bounces off a metal tray through the magnifying glass and starts burning the rope through
the
one of
macrame
the
plant
holder,
thing. Yeah.
And as the Iris is telling the story, she's like, I see you, fucker, and throws a brush or something.
And this is where Stephanie gets really freaked out, and now she thinks she's made a mistake. She should never have come. She leaves. But
Iris is the smartest. She survived the longest.
Iris is like, I'm talking to Death. She's like, I can outwit him, and so it's not great.
She's in the cabin actually talking out loud to Death.
If he's been torturing you for this long, why wouldn't you?
So Iris wants Stephanie to at least take her book. So she has this, like, Bible that she's made with all of her premonitions, all the ways that you can die in certain things. She's got all sorts of it.
It's the
playing.
Obsessive
she has some
conspiracy theory yarn thing, but all packaged up.
As we go through this book, we see flashes of the drawing. Like, you see, like, the plane crash of things. You see all sorts of stuff.
You see the drawing of the wood truck down the road.
Yeah, that actually happens again later. I forgot. I'm actually flashing to another place.
Makes you think that all these movies are connected. This group of people in this movie do not connect to any other. The filmmaker said that because it would fuck with the canon, because we know those other people had families that Death didn't have to go through.
Right.
So this movie is actually contained with only the people who survived in that tower in the beginning.
Right, exactly. So Iris decides that she stops at the threshold. She has the book. She wants Stephanie to take it. And so she looks at the threshold. She has not left the house for 20 years. And she decides to take a step out.
Well, and she clocks things.
She does.
Sees the wind starts blowing through the wind chimes.
She does.
When Stephanie first walked in, the fire extinguisher outside fell down, which all of us as viewers were like, well, that's gonna
So we flash the drawings in the book of her death. Wind, a fire extinguisher, and a weather vane. And she decides to go on anyway because seeing is believing is what she tells Stephanie.
This is so silly. So she's already told Stephanie in the cabin that she has cancer. That cancer is eating her away, so she's about cooked.
She's got like 2 months anyway, she says.
And in the stupidest little part of exposition of what that's a shrug, she goes, maybe you started having my premonitions 2 months ago when I got diagnosed because that shares the premonition, or maybe it's just fate has a fucked up sense of humor. So it's a part of the screenplay that they're like, I don't know why she suddenly got the premonition, and we're not going to talk about it.
Right.
So as Iris walks out, she hands the book and she goes, you need to take this. Step back from me. Seeing is believing.
Yeah.
And the wind blows the weather vane off of the cabin rooftop, hits the fucking fire extinguisher,
which had fallen off earlier when Stephanie walked in,
and propels it through the back of her fucking head.
Face just explodes.
And her face explodes all over Stephanie.
Yeah, just like gore and blood. Just
and her jaw hinges down, and I'm just like, what the fuck, Grandma? You have just traumatized this person who's supposed to be taking up the mantle.
You know, I mean, it feels like that's what Iris does.
She's like, you need to understand these consequences are fucking dire.
Yeah.
They could not be more serious.
It does work.
It's
Stephanie
so
does
fun
believe.
The first 20 minutes of this movie is just like, oh my God, everyone's on fire and exploding in blood. And then it's like a big spate of nothing. And then you're just like, oh, and we're back.
Okay, so we're at a funeral.
Her funeral.
Obviously, we're at Iris's funeral, and the whole family there, cousins, everything. And then Darlene, who is mom to Stephanie, and
an
Charlie,
RV rolls up.
And an RV rolls up, and Stephanie refuses to go to the family barbecue if her mom is there. And her brother accuses her of not caring. So
it's an annoying little scene because Stephanie immediately is like, Mom's just going to show up. She left when I was 10, and Mom's just going to show up and pretend like nothing's happened. I'm like, she hasn't even stepped out of the RV yet.
Yeah.
Her own mother just died.
Yeah.
She hasn't tried to pretend nothing has not, you know.
She's just using her own trauma to do what she wants to do.
And the cousins kind of have this vibe of like, this is what you did to us when you left for college. You cut us all out. That's why
that's
the
her
grumpiness.
brother, actually, not her cousin.
Right, but that's why Julia is also mad at
Yes.
her. It ripples through.
It does. All of them are
everyone's
mad at her.
like,
She basically went to college and like stopped talking to her family, and they seem to be a very close family, and they're all mad about it.
Yeah,
so
they're all mad about her disappearing, and she's like, I'm not like Mom. So that's a little family dumb shit in this.
So
like, kill somebody, please.
I guess it's just like they're trying to like add some character without it being just death, I guess.
It's unsuccessful.
So we're at after the funeral, there's going to be a barbecue. So we're at the barbecue, and preparations are happening.
Should never be a barbecue.
Well, and this is the
propane.
trailer.
Is it a propane grill?
Yeah, this is the propane grill. So they set up the bar, a glass breaks, and a piece of glass falls into the ice. Propane is hooked up, but is it hooked up? And Jenga is stacked, and then
trampoline, but there's a rusty rake underneath the trampoline.
And then Darlene shows up with cookies, but there's peanut butter in the cookies.
Which Bobby's
Bobby's allergic, which he's the youngest brother on the cousin side. And Eric accuses her of trying to kill his brother. So they all make drinks to have like a cheers, a toast, yeah. And the glass shard ends up in Howard's drink. So Uncle Howard has it. And the propane won't turn on, but then it explodes because it's not connected properly. And
so that's a big fake out.
We're at Stephanie's house, and she's starting to look at Iris's book, and it has scenes of other movies. This is where we see everything.
Yeah, so basically
the plane, the scenes from our family's barbecue is also tossed in there. The truck with the logs on it from the episode 2.
Now, again, this shouldn't be from other movies. This should just be from... So this is other plane crashes. Like, there's a logging truck later on in this movie.
It could just be coincidental deaths, but I don't feel like...
I feel like story-wise they wanted to make this contained, but they wanted to evoke imagery of the entire franchise.
Well, I think it just means because she's a visionary. Maybe she's, even though they're not related to that,
she can still see
death. She can still
see.
Yeah.
And maybe since there were other visionaries, it seems like they're trying to allude to the fact that the visionaries are connected.
Okay, yeah.
Somehow.
I like that.
It's
That's
like
a nice
grandmother
story.
and daughter. So like somehow she's tapped into like they have like a psychic network.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Maybe it's the next movie.
Maybe. Okay, so then the family photo like falls off the shelf and the glass breaks and the glass comes across. And she goes down there and picks up this glass, and then somehow
she knows glass
is involved, and she's got to go to her cousin's house.
Because we're cutting back and forth between her going through this stuff and,
the barbecue.
Is it going to be the hose turning on or whatever? That probably hasn't happened
haven't got there yet, yeah.
So shit is to the barbecue, back and forth.
Okay, so we're at the barbecue now, and Howard gives a key to Darlene, but she refuses the house key because she doesn't feel like that's the best choice.
Yeah.
Which Turned out not to be a thing. Sorry about that. Nope.
That doesn't matter.
Stephanie is now racing toward her family, trying to call her brother, which he's on the trampoline. So the phone is in his shoe underneath the trampoline, so he's not hearing it.
Trampolines are death traps anyway.
Yeah.
They are. Well, this one has multiple.
Yeah. So, and she passes a road sign which flashes, "Caution, danger ahead." And so she freaks out even more. So then Uncle Howard gets on the trampoline because they're like, "Uncle Howard, show us your backflip." And it starts to
every
rip.
time this trampoline goes down, it almost hits the ground, and there's this spikes of this rusted rake, like right there.
And I'm like, that is a really sharp rake, because I have one of those rakes, and it is not that sharp. So they sharpened that rake for the movie.
Well, and it doesn't have to be, because if you go jumping down on it, I don't care how sharp it is, it's going to fuck you up.
I know, but now this movie makes it worse. So then Darlene, she tells him, she's like, "Stop!" Because she noticed the rake, and she pulls it out and she puts it in like a half whiskey barrel where they are storing,
like a planter.
Yeah, like a planter, like where they are storing a bunch of other, like a hoe and a shovel, or a spade or whatever you call it.
Good call. Meanwhile, every time they're jumping, it's also showing a rip in the trampoline happening.
Yeah. So then Mom carelessly puts a bowl down on like some bricks that are next to the grill, because it's like a built-in outdoor kitchen, and it pushes a beer bottle off and onto a switch that turns on the hose, which I've never seen an electronic hose before.
It's like an electronic hose. So you push a button and the hose turns on.
Yeah, and it slowly fills itself up, and when we follow the hose, it goes into that whiskey barrel, and so the whole bottom of it is all hose.
It's like filling. It's
and
like
so
getting
it's
thicker.
It's thickening up because it's filling with water, and so then the things that are also stuck in the rake and the hoe and stuff start to like move around a little bit.
So should we just go bang, bang, bang?
Yeah, Stephanie shows up, and the Jenga falls over, which they all scream, and then one of the cousins falls through the torn trampoline.
Jenga hits the glass.
The Jenga had hit the glass, the cocktail, and knocked over Howard's drink. So the glass is now on the yard. Howard steps on it. It goes right through his foot, all the way through. And then the hoses loosen the rake enough that it falls over, turns on the lawnmower, which then takes off at an angle, and because Uncle Howard fell over when the glass went through his foot.
And lands on Howard's
his face.
Now, I've never seen a lawnmower that just can stay on in the past 4 decades.
There's a safety bar for
There's a safety
fucking
bar.
reason.
You gotta hold on to it, and when you let go of it,
those,
it turns off. And
those
this is
robot mowers now, like robot vacuums.
But this wasn't a robot mower.
I mean, Howard
he was
using
mowing
it
earlier in the movie.
And it's a new one. It's a push button guy. So this is one of the least egregious, stupid things in this movie. We're going to get to one that I find very offensive to me later on, but it all adds up for Howard's face to be just ground to a pulp by this. And again, no bones. So it's not like
no bones.
Blades aren't hitting skull. It just like turns him his whole head into like pie.
Yeah, and then we have another funeral.
Cut
directly to a funeral. So Stephanie, after the funeral, Stephanie goes through the book to figure it out. She calls her whole family in. So she's like putting everything up on the walls.
She presents it like a book report.
Yeah. And she's trying to show her whole family what's coming for them, because she's figured out that what had happened, what her grandma left her. And the family gets upset and they leave. Like, they do not want any part of it. They don't believe her.
It's fairly offensive. Their
is.
dad/husband has been dead for less than 24 hours.
Yeah, it's like right after the funeral. Like, it's not, I get it, why you're not willing to listen.
Of course.
Darlene tells Stephanie that it seems convincing because she was raised with it, but it's not real. And Stephanie tells her she doesn't need a mom, so.
Yeah, good job, everybody.
Yeah. So then that evening, we are with cousin Eric at the tattoo shop. So now, like, when Stephanie was explaining this, she's like, "Eric, you're next in line," because it's going down the line
like
of how
birth
things.
line.
Yeah, the birth
So
line.
during this presentation, when everybody is already on their last nerve with it, she starts telling people in what order they're going to die, which no one wants to hear that shit.
Yeah.
So, and also specifies that her father and her aunt are safe from this because they're not part of the bloodline.
Yeah.
So
Eric said he works in a tattoo shop. He's a tattoo artist. He's piercing somebody's tongue.
Okay, this tattoo parlor's ridiculous.
It is.
It is this 20-foot steepled church of heavy metal bullshit. It's got chains hanging all over the place. Everything is backlit red. It is.
I've never seen
place.
a tattoo shop like this before.
No,
Usually they're very clean and covered in art.
They're clean.
You
covered
have to be.
Art.
You can't have dusty things because
there's demarcated little spots for the artist. This is like an open concept where you're just in the middle of the floor. No one is getting pierced or tattooed in this place.
It seems a
without
little cluttery.
Getting hepatitis.
Yeah, exactly. So Eric has gone to close up the tattoo shop. He turns on Eric's tattoo mix.
Well, also, this scene betrays Eric's soft side.
It does.
At the beginning of it, he's piercing a girl's tongue, and then his boss is like, this is the last one. You need to close up. And he's like, no, my dad just died, blah, blah. And he's bitching to the girl. This poor girl is like, can't talk because she's just got a thing through her tongue. And she's like, and then she like runs out of there.
She does.
So Eric is left alone, and he turns on the metal mix.
He does.
And we start up again with this bullshit.
Right. So
the ceiling fan starts tapping a chain.
Yes. So here we go. He's jamming up and he's closing up. He's disinfecting with flammable liquid. The ceiling fan is too close to these chains that are hanging. The bobblehead that's on top of the speaker.
There's a bobblehead of death that keeps
slowly
moving.
shaking off. And then Eric stops his music halfway through. The bobblehead is not quite at the point where it can fall.
Yeah.
And he decides to change.
And he scrolls to Eric's sad mix.
And
And he starts playing a sad song and sits down and starts tattooing himself.
Yes.
With tears in his eyes.
He tattoos Dad in Old English font.
But that song is enough. It has a bass hit to knock the bobblehead off.
Everything just starts falling and breaking. A disinfectant falls over. And the chain falls and attaches to Eric's nose ring.
Time out.
Okay.
Stupid shit number 2. So a decorative chain falls, swings down from the ceiling, and catches in his septum piercing. How? It's like a hoop magic trick, but it's a chain link clicks into his septum ring.
Yeah, and he can't get it off. And so then the fan is still whirling because he turned it on earlier. And it starts winding up the chain. And so he just gets higher and higher. He goes on a chair, he gets on a counter, and then he gets on top of like the top of the chair.
Holding two? Because that thing would just rip the nose ring out of it.
That's what I said, yeah.
Oh, and at this point, if I'm going higher and higher, I'm ripping the ceiling fan.
Yes,
You
exactly.
could do that just fine.
Easily. You could just hang from it. Jesus Christ.
I'm not letting my nose get ripped
Yeah. So, but he finally gets it unhooked, but then he falls onto the fire that started because everything else just starts to fall around him.
A lamp fell over and did the disinfectant. So she falls into the fire, and then we cut to outside of the parlor, and flames are in the windows going high. And I immediately called bullshit. Yeah. Because there's no way this movie lets someone die off screen.
Right.
There's no way.
So the next morning, Stephanie had been texting Eric all night because she knows he's about to die. And she's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And she just can't. So she gets Charlie up in the morning and she's like, we need to go look for Eric. Okay. So they're driving to his house, and then they find out on the way that the tattoo parlor burned to the ground last night. And then as they're like, oh my God, are you serious?
The tension is then immediately broken because they almost hit Eric with the car.
They almost hit Eric as he's walking down the street.
And he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm. And Eric is like in a fireman t-shirt. And he is like, my leather jacket saved me.
There's a ton of details in this that are actually, I really appreciate. The fireman t-shirt, obviously, he was given that.
Oh, and we forgot about the brand, the heart brand.
Yeah.
So he shows
that never comes back either, does it?
It does. He shows, no, it doesn't. He just shows them the next morning. She's like, oh my God, what's that bandage? And he pulls it off. He's like, cool, look I got branded. And he has he had fallen on a piece of metal heart when it was on fire.
And it branded a heart after the dad.
Yeah, and then has a heart now burned into it.
So, whatever. But also earlier we know that Stephanie didn't know that Charlie was in lifeguard school.
Sure.
So there's these little sprinkles that I like that aren't overt, that do, and then they don't like spell out that you go, oh, how was he? Oh, yeah, that's how he was able to. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's moments in this movie that I really appreciate because clearly they're having to write Rube Goldberg throughout the whole thing.
They are.
They just lose it sometimes, though.
They do.
The septum piercing link thing is so silly.
So does Eric believe them now that he almost died?
No, this scene is ongoing. Don't worry. He'll believe by the end of this scene. Which
he still thinks it's dumb, and he's like, I could just like back up into the road, and he almost gets hit by a delivery truck.
Which is a callback.
And now he thinks, I'm invincible.
Maybe I'm invincible.
And then Stephanie trails him home, and she's like, tells him to be careful. Maybe this tree trimmer will fall down and hit that guy with a leaf blower, and the leaf blower will blow that soccer ball, and the soccer ball will hit you in the face. And he's like, what is a soccer ball in the face going to do to me?
Right. So she's just calling out the math of stuff while he's going like, we're on a suburban road. What's going to happen?
Yeah, and so then Cousin Julia comes out of the house, and she's in her jogging gear. She's going for a run. And then she talks to them for a second, and then
a garbage truck
comes by, and then Eric molests the garbage truck as he proves that it's not going to hurt him.
Look, this isn't going to hurt me. That's
he basically is.
He's licking it.
He's
for
licking
fuck's
it,
sake.
and he molests the garbage truck. It's disgusting.
And he kind of humps the tire a little bit.
Yeah, it's bad. So then Julia takes off running.
And this moment, I'm like, oh, I know what this is.
Yeah, and so then we have the three people, with the two boys in
mid-camera.
And we see Julia running off, and everything that she just said happens. The tree trimmer falls onto the guy with the leaf blower. The leaf blower hits the soccer ball. The soccer ball hits her in the face, which then knocks her into the trash can.
And it's one of those automated one that picks her up and throws her into the trash can. And then it
picks her up and throws her into the garbage
truck. It's my favorite
truck.
scene in the movie because it all happens while they're talking in the foreground, and all of that shit that Stephanie just predicted happened back there. And I was just like, that's hilarious.
It was hilarious.
It's kind of ruined by what happens next because it obviously gets too gory.
The kids freak out and they all chase the truck down. And then it turns out that the driver has got headphones on and he's
jamming out
to pop music, and he's looking at
a dating app
on his phone. Yeah, he's swiping. So then Stephanie manages to actually catch the truck and get on top, and she's like holding her hand out to Julia, trying to get her.
Ostensibly killing her, like holding her up. I
think she would have been crushed regardless. It just traumatized herself. Yeah.
So it is one of these like mashing things, and the metal's coming over. Arm out, head out, and it just doesn't cut. Yeah. It just smashes this girl's face
right there,
and then rips her arm off. No bones.
Because the boys are still on the ground and they're trying to get the driver, and they got his attention right as
they get
right
as
she got crushed.
She's dead now.
Yeah.
Which I immediately was like, oh, when she started jogging, I knew she was going to die. I'm like, oh, Eric doesn't have the dad he thinks he has.
No.
I really clocked him like, that's a fun little twist.
Yeah. So the family now believes, so they're having another family meeting, and Mom admits
he's a product of an affair.
The product of an affair. He's not part of the bloodline, so that's why it skipped him. And so the remaining bloodline members are Darlene and her 2 kids and Bobby. That's all we have left. They decide to go find JB, who is in the notes, mentioned in Grandma's notes.
Yeah, there's a single circle thing that says JB found a way.
JB found somebody who survived.
Okay, JB found a survivor.
Yeah.
So they're going to go, they know where JB is.
Yeah.
They're going to go track him down to see what he knows.
Right.
And he is working at a hospital that is called
Hope River Hospital.
Hope River.
But they go through an entire list of...
It's something like Spring River. It's something like this.
So they said Clear River.
And then they go Clear River.
That's
and they
hilarious.
hold on it.
Yeah.
And then Stephanie goes,
hilarious.
It's Hope River.
It's
and I was just like, what are we doing?
we're just like giving little nods to the past.
Who is JB?
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
So they drive, it's an hour away.
They drive an hour away to this hospital, and Bobby decides that he's like, I'm going with you. And they're like, no, you need to stay here with your mom. And he's like, I just read Grammy's book, and I read how many ways you can die at home, so I'm coming with you. So then they go outside, and they're outside the RV. This is another cue scene. Eric comes out, and he's like, wait. You're the one who made cookies with peanut butter. He's like, what other nuts do you have in your RV? So he goes in and gets all the nuts out because he's not going to
He throws the peanut butter in the yard and decides, I'm going with y'all also because I need to protect
my
Bobby.
brother. Yeah.
So now it's Eric, Bobby, Charlie, Stephanie, and Darlene.
Yes.
5.
Yes.
All driving in the RV an hour away to try to find who JB is.
Yes. And so they go to the hospital and they get down to the morgue. And
this is so crazy. So they just walk into this fucking place and they go, I'm looking for JB, which is just initials.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's
in the morgue.
And then it cuts to autopsy in progress, a lit up sign. And they walk into this room. There's 5 fucking people off the street walk into a room where a dude is cutting into another dude and is like, we're here for JB. And he's just like, doesn't immediately go, security? Security. But no, he's like, I'm not JB. And then you hear this deep, deep voice.
I'm JB.
I'm JB.
Yeah.
And my heart sinks because I knew it was going to happen. But it's so late in the movie when it happens.
I know.
We pan over across this big, expansive, like, medical room, and there is Tony Todd.
Yeah.
Tony Todd has been in all but one of these movies. His name...
Is he really?
All but 5.
I didn't realize that.
He's Bloodworth in all of these movies.
I didn't realize
and one,
that.
I think he's just a voice. He does a voiceover. He doesn't appear.
But he's not playing the same character.
He's played Bloodworth throughout this entire franchise.
So he's JB Bloodworth. Oh,
his name is William
James
Bloodworth. He for the first time spells it up, but my friends call me JB.
I missed that.
Now, we got to take a little moment here. Tony Todd looks like a skeleton.
He does.
This is a 6'5" man and is famously huge. I know him, obviously, my whole life. He was in The Crow, in Wishmaster, and Tom Savini's version of Night of the Living Dead. But for God's sakes, he's Candyman. Mm-hmm. He is a icon in the horror world. Mm-hmm. He's a Freddy Krueger. He's a Jason Voorhees. He's not a masked dude. He's just Tony fucking Todd. Mm-hmm. And he was in 5 of 6 of these movies. This is his last movie. They let him say his last thing. His last words were, life is precious every single second. Boy.
You're cheering up, baby.
I don't know why this is hitting me like this.
Because he's your
childhood hero. He's one of your heroes.
You grew up with him.
I'm not going to read his last thing. It's his words. He died last November, 6 months before this movie even came out. So this absolutely was his last thing.
Yeah, I remember some of the press around this movie, and they were talking about him, but I don't think I put together that he was the guy in all the other movies that, like, basically is like, let me explain death to you.
Yeah.
Did they talk about how his character knows?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I'm just going to spoil it now. He's the boy.
He's the little boy.
Saved.
Oh.
He's the boy in the cart.
He's the little boy in the
cart.
cart.
So he tells them all how Iris saved his life. And he remembers, he did not have the premonition she did, but he remembers her talking to his mother. He remembers her coming up onto the stage and saying, you're all going to die. You know, he remembers all that. And then Iris later found him as an adult and explained to him and convinced him what Death was doing. And he helped her build her barricades at her compound.
Has Death not come for him
They
yet?
became friends.
He's dying of cancer,
He died last.
and they put his actual cancer into the movie.
They did.
They give him his exit, and all of this is happening when
he's
my
like
dog
he's
died,
like Iris had
when
cancer.
your dad passed. All of this like really culminated at the same time.
Yeah.
So like now finally watching it, I'm just like, it's just too early, and it's just. You have all of these hilariously stupid things going on. It is
and then
Looney
they're
Tunes,
just like,
and then it's just this
he's dying of cancer.
This man is literally walking out of this life in this movie.
It's one of those things that I would imagine would be difficult when you are in reality facing your own mortality, and then you're going into this movie where you're also talking about facing
death
your
comes for us all.
Yeah,
and he's talking about how he's like, okay, so he tells them that there's 2 ways to escape death. Killing someone and you take the time that they have, or dying.
Now that was kind of set up earlier in the franchise.
Oh yeah, in the franchise
is a kind of a funny dark joke later in a minute here where I think it's one of the nastiest ones. It's the NASCAR ones where one of them starts going, I can kill people, and he becomes so afraid of his next turn in death, he starts killing people in order to try to get more time.
Right.
Do you have to kill someone every time it's your turn?
Yeah, I don't know. I see, because it's not. I would have to rewatch that movie and see how that's explored, because it's only posited in this movie to the boys. And they have a little moment.
So he also talks about how Kimberly Corman is the only person who escaped death, and she flatlined, and she's the one who.
So
she's a survivor of the second one.
She flatlined, and her doctor brought her back, and she is the survivor of the second one. She was the only one who's managed to escape death. So she's the one that he knew.
So she's like, loophole.
Yeah. He tells them that he is sick, and he's basically like, you know, Iris had got cancer, and then she died, and now I have cancer. And it's like literally coming for him. And he's like, there's no running. He basically walks away and doesn't help them.
Yeah, he says, you know, love this life. Good luck.
Yeah. So Eric then convinces Bobby that flatlining is the option. And since they're in the hospital, especially, that it's going to be pretty safe. And then Bobby, remember, has this peanut allergy, so they're going to use peanuts.
Oh, God.
So
Bobby.
Where are the boys are off?
The boys have disappeared.
Okay, so they're off. And they have a little, are we doing the baby thing yet?
They're on their way to the vending machines. Eric is still trying to convince Bobby that he needs to die to survive, basically.
And Bobby's like, yeah, I'm not going to kill someone. In fact, I wouldn't even know how much time I would get.
Yeah.
And they look over, and there's all the newborn babies, and they're like, yeah, obviously.
And Eric's like, are you sure?
They have this like super dark moment,
They do.
and they're like, no, I'm going to flatline myself.
Right,
Like,
so
should
Eric...
you do that? And he's like, no, we definitely shouldn't. We've thought about it.
It's a funny little
It's just
moment.
like that. It's a funny little moment. So Eric, he's like, I have a plan. So they go to the vending machine, and he's like, we're going to buy these peanuts. You have a peanut allergy. We're going to get you down to, you know, death. We're going to basically die, and I'll get you resuscitated.
Yeah,
Here,
the ER's
right down the
there.
hall. And then Bobby's like, if I'm going to go out on peanuts, I don't want that unsalted shit. I want those peanut butter cups.
That if we're going to do it, I'm getting a fucking Reese's.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Give me one.
The machine then sticks, so the peanut butter cups get stuck, and Eric gets really angry, and he smashes the glass. So now the glass is cracked.
Eric.
I know. And then he goes behind the machine and starts to move
There's a
it.
close-up of the no tipping
no.
sticker
Yes,
as he starts flipping it.
Yes,
Why
and
would
then
you think this is a good idea?
because they never do.
This is the stupidest series of events.
It is,
I
but
hate
it's hilarious. Okay, so then he tips the machine over from behind, and eventually he gets the candy out. And Bobby's like trying not to stand in front of the machine, but So then, as the candy falls out, the spring actually also pops loose.
Yeah, it just kind of goes forward and is pointing forward towards the broken glass.
That's it. That's all that happens. So he grabs the candy, and then they go into this. He's like, "Here, let's go in here." And they go into this empty room. So they're in this room, and Eric tells Bobby not to leave. Don't move. And I'll be right back. I have a plan. So Eric leaves, and as he shuts the door, a clipboard falls onto a keyboard that then starts up the computer.
A fucking MRI machine.
It's an MRI machine.
Hey, you can't just push a button. It doesn't have just an on switch.
It does in this movie. So then Eric puts
it's a new model.
Yeah, you know what also is interesting in this movie? What is magnetized?
So Eric then goes to try to find a wheelchair. And he gets who the fuck are you? And he kind of ponies, I'm here to see my grandma. And so he ponies up to some strange lady to get a wheelchair, to get people to leave him alone. And then he takes the wheelchair. So he takes the wheelchair back and he puts Bobby in the wheelchair and he's like, where's your EpiPen? I need your EpiPen. And he takes it away from Bobby.
He's like, you're going to panic and you're going to want to use this.
Yeah. So Bobby eats the peanut butter cup and he's like, I'm fine.
Oh, he's like, these are fucking delicious. Because he hasn't had one of these.
His brother's like, yeah, they're delicious.
There's a moment where he's like, did you grow out of this? Which I just learned you can actually grow out of allergies.
You can,
But no, he starts choking.
He starts to choke. And then he starts to chase Eric for the EpiPen because he's in panic mode.
Now, this whole time, the MRI is automatically going up in
power.
Power.
Yeah. So then it's gotten to a point where the magnet has been engaged. And Eric's phone, which was in his hand because it was ringing or something.
It needs a manual override, and it sucks the phone out of his hand and to the button to make the override happen. So now it goes up more. Now, as a person who has had, I want to say, more than his fair share of MRIs, I hate these machines. They make me want to panic. There's a whole team of people required to deal with this shit.
Yeah, sure.
And it's not just sitting there doing this. There's a booth of people that are in there and whatever.
I know.
And as it keeps going, yes. So MRIs make a wild magnetic field. There was a Florida dude a couple months ago that refused to hid his carry gun. And it ripped out of his thing and it hit the side of the machine. And no one died, but you had to recalibrate it. It just fucks up the entire hospital for the day. People? So this can happen.
I understand that there are people who are like, you're not going to take my gun. But you don't think about the fact that it's a big magnet?
Right. No, they don't. And this was he wasn't even getting in the machine. He was holding it onto it and he was just in the room or off to the side and it went off of him. Because obviously they want to put you in a gown. You couldn't sneak a gun into the machine.
Yeah.
But I bring it up because this type of thing can pull from a distance.
Yeah.
Things that are magnetic.
Sure. So then Eric's piercings fly out of his body.
Surgical steel is not magnetic.
No, it's not.
Famously not magnetic.
And then I wrote, oh my God, he has a Prince Albert.
So it rips out his nose, it rips out his ears, it rips out his nipples, and then the front of his pants starts pulling forward.
God.
Yeah, and so then as that happens, the wheelchair is also somehow
not magnetic.
And so the wheelchair now grabs him and goes into the circle of the machine.
So
and he's being sucked in because the wheelchair is being sucked
behind
in.
him.
Yeah.
And it's he's being folded in half.
Yeah.
The wheelchair starts ripping through him, and as his shirt goes up,
oh my God.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
He has a full skull tattoo on his chest, which all of these movies have skull iconography.
Yeah, they do.
And all of the pieces of the wheelchair rip through his chest, through the skull.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
It's gross.
It's stupid. It would never, ever happen.
No. And then as he's being sucked in, he is still holding onto that fucking EpiPen. And so Bobby, who's now having an anaphylactic shock, is crawling across the room to get that EpiPen. And he actually manages to get it out of his brother's hand, his dead brother's hand, and give it to himself. But the power level on the MRI is now sucking all the metal in the hallway into it's sticking to the door and stuff like that.
No hospital staff around during this entire process.
No. But the nurse kind of starts to notice at the desk down the hall, and she starts to follow, and she goes in, she opens the door, and as she opens the door, all the metal flies in. And then she's like, are you okay? And Bobby's like, yeah, I'm actually okay. And then the spring that was in the vending machine that had loosened up goes through the cracked glass and goes into his brain.
And doesn't stop. It rotates, I guess, because of the magnetic field into his brain. And then it just cracks open the top of his skull. Sorry, no skull. There's no bones. And he just plops down. So
right.
Yeah.
So then she screams, the nurse screams, and the family who are looking for the boys come running, and they walk in, and they were like, I thought Eric was going to be skipped. And then was it Stephanie who says, when you fuck with death, things get messy?
Things get messy. Which is something either Iris said or JB said. Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it was JB.
Yeah, JB
I think
said
it was JB
it. If you fuck with death, things get messy.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so then
there were 3.
There's 3. So Darlene decides to lock herself in her mom's cabin to save her kids.
She's like, I'm just going to do what my mom did. As long as I'm alive, you guys are alive. And I'm like, death just doesn't work like this. So do you mean that they're immortal, movie, or do you mean that they are as likely to die as the rest of us?
Right. Correct.
Correct.
Well, I mean, eventually mom's going to die and then death will come after them again.
But eventually, like, that's the thing. In this movie, the natural order of death is maintained. Parents go before kids go. Yes. So it's like, hey, movie, this is what we're all dealing with.
Yes.
These aren't extraordinary circumstances.
No. So Stephanie's like, Mom, death won't let you get there. Sure. You know, death won't let you get there, so I have to go with you because I can see the pattern. So we had discovered earlier in the movie that Stephanie can, because of her math acuity.
So the idea is that she not failing out of school because of stupid stuff, because her beginning class was vector math.
Yeah.
That she is now good at vector math with death.
Right,
so
but because what happened with Julia when she like saw the tremor and the blower and the soccer ball. Her brother is like, you can see it happen, you know? And so they decide that she has to go with them so that she can get her mom there safely. And so they all 3 go, you know? So
I like attempting to make some order to this silliness.
As they all hug before they get in the RV,
really
the penny falls out of the book and rolls across the parking lot.
And
then we get in the RV and we start to drive off. Mom's driving. And then a log truck comes by and she almost gets hit.
Do we see here that the old woman...
Not yet.
Okay.
Darlene decides that Stephanie should drive because Stephanie can predict when death is fucking with them. And then we see earlier the old woman that Eric was flirting with to try to get the wheelchair. She is in the parking lot and she picks up the penny.
This goddamn penny, man. Did we say earlier that Iris had taped the penny she took from the boy into the book?
No, probably not. I don't know. I did, but I don't know.
It's there. We could have seen it.
It was in the book, yeah.
So now, as they get into the thing, it falls. Anyway.
So
here we go. We're going to the
family has gotten to the compound.
In order to escape death, we're driving to the scariest place on Earth that has nothing but barbed wire and spikes.
Yeah, everywhere. And then as they get there, Steph sees that Death has a plan and is about to make a move. And so they need to get Darlene into the house as soon as possible. So she decides to back up and ram the gates to get as close to the house as possible.
I just wish there were rules. Like, if this was a demon, like, the cabin would have glyphs or something. Because it's literally, the movie sets up, like, as long as the mom crosses a threshold of this cabin, she's safe in there.
Like, there's a salt circle, but there's not. So
Right. So, anyway, that's what the movie's telling us. So...
Okay, so
it's a hard push across this field of death to get mom into this.
Right, so they ram the gates, they get as close as possible, and then as the RV settles and stops, something falls and breaks Stephanie's seatbelt button. So they're all trying to get out, and Stephanie can't get out. And then sparks are flying.
And all I'm thinking about is Erica's gift to Jamie. The whole time I was thinking about Erica's gift to Jamie that we talked about. Remember, on one end, it punches glass, and the other end, you flip it around, and you cut the seatbelt with it.
Okay, we all need one of these.
These characters don't have that.
No. So the sparks are flying from a pole that is attached to the house, and fire starts in the gutter, because they haven't been cleaned out. So then the sparks are, like, flying. Mom opens the door, and the sparks fly into the house. The macrame plant holder breaks, that one that burned earlier.
The mom, and when she opens the door, lets a single ember in.
Yeah, and the plant hits the gas stove, turns the gas on. That single ember then blows up the house. You need a lot more gas than a fucking second.
Than a half a second.
It needs to be like pulling.
This explosion is 20 times the amount of the propane gas thing that had been turned on for like 4 minutes.
It's so crazy. You need it to pull to have this big of an explosion, but whatever. So that explosion actually knocks the RV into the pool of water it's parked next to.
So Stephanie now is trapped in the seatbelt and underwater. Charlie's under a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, like a fence or something. Debris,
and Mom is half burned face, but she
manages to get her son out. Yeah. So Charlie's out, and she's like, "Don't worry about me. Go save your sister. I'm going to stay alive." The pole falls on her face.
A post falls down and smashes Mom to bits.
Yeah. So now it's just Charlie and Stephanie. Charlie gets into the RV and he finds a knife in a drawer, a pocket knife, to cut her free. As he's trying to cut her free, he drops the knife, and then the knife...
It's a whole
he like accidentally puts like somehow the knife folds on himself. They don't do that. It like folds back and cuts.
Well, and also it's you cut your fingers. Shut the fuck up and keep going. Like,
and then everything goes to black. And then we wake up and Charlie tells Stephanie that she died, but he brought her back.
He's lifeguard training
because of the life.
And they don't say that. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that's a little setup and land.
So they go home and they have Paco now, the turtle. And
Paco lives.
It's Charlie's prom and he has a date with Jenny or whatever. Then we flash to the old lady, and she's, like, not far. And she has the penny, and she's trying to buy a lemonade from a lemonade stand from kids. And she drops the penny, and it rolls down the hill. And it hits the railroad tracks, and it sticks in between the two.
The same railroad tracks that we crossed in the very beginning of this movie. We're now back there, and this little penny, once again, finds the perfect spot to fuck up everything.
Yeah, fuck up everything. And it's stuck in between the changeover, right? And then we see the red car from the beginning.
Which I don't understand.
Go over the tracks. I'm like, question mark, what is this?
I think they just want to be like, remember? And I'm like, we remembered. We don't need the car.
So then Jenny's dad is a doctor, and he says that Stephanie actually never really died. She was just unconscious and not breathing.
I found this very authentic.
Yeah,
because
me
he's
too.
Like,
he's
like, he brought me back to life. And the doctor dad is like that guy. He's like, I don't want to be that guy, but you didn't really die.
Yeah, you didn't really die.
You were unconscious and you got revived. You didn't really
You hadn't died yet, yeah. And then they look at each other like, fuck. So then we see the red car again pass on the street behind them.
And the wind chimes.
And then Jenny comes out in the same dress that Iris was wearing in 1968.
They, for whatever reason, also like the red rose as the thing.
Oh, yeah, the red rose, yeah. They do a lot of
stuff from the beginning gets replicated here.
And then the train derails and basically chases the kids down the street.
A giant train derails and destroys this entire neighborhood.
Yeah, and the kids are just running from a fucking derailed train.
And the two of them are running, and it looks cool.
It does.
Okay.
You can't outrun a fucking derailed train.
But it's like stumbling and tumbling and whatever, and we do need a little timeout. So this morning, last night she heard me clapping when the boy got hit by the piano. This morning, I'm still laying in bed flipping through my phone, and Lindsay just starts laughing her ass off. And I'm trying to think I know she's towards the end of the movie. What is tickling her so much? It's this. As the train derails.
The train derails and the kids just barely make it. They are on the ground and are like, oh my God. They're like, they managed down to a train and they're like, that was close. And they stand up and then another crash happens and fucking logs come barely over the
Two logs go over and turn them into red smears on the road. Hard cut.
Yeah, that's it. That's the fucking end of the movie.
And I'm like,
they just smashed.
What are we doing?
And I started laughing.
What? I'm really asking you guys, what is this franchise doing?
That's how they always end. Like, you think you're out of it, and then they're like, but wait, and somebody dies, and then the movie ends.
Do people like this stuff because they don't know that they die? Are people not aware of their mortality?
I think
the inevitability of it?
I think this movie banks on there are people who, I mean, you guys left, but there are people who are like how absurd the deaths are, because it's like a terrible cartoon
It
scenario.
is a cartoon of death. It is.
And I got 2 points to that. Like, one, I'm like, well, how many movies do we need to do this with?
Yeah. That's why, like I said, I was like, I saw the first one for sure, because when it came out, I was of the age, and Devon Sawa was in it, and I was like, what is this? And it was the first one, so I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then I think I saw the second one, and then I was like, Devon Sawa's not even in this, and then I was like, whatever. And then now every time a Final Destination movie comes out, I'm like, again?
So it's scratching
again?
an itch that very early internet people may not, like, I'm an old man, so very early internet and VHS, there was something called Faces of Death. I don't know if you guys are aware of this series, but it was almost urban legend, but they existed. They went around and they were compilations of death tapes, people falling off of buildings, people committing suicides.
I've heard
some of them
like
were fake.
VHS tapes
yes.
that
they were VHS that you could rent them.
Heard about this in, I think it was in My Favorite Murder. They were talking about
These are all real, and they were things that as a young man I would go into a party and people would be like, do you want to watch this? And I was always like, no. Yeah. It's basically stuff films.
Yeah.
So it is like news footage of people really dying, real accidents around, and then a lot of them were like manufactured to be like, okay, and you sat around and like, well, I don't think that was real or whatever.
Right.
It was the grossest instinct that we have.
It's like,
and this franchise is that.
Well, it's also like America's Funniest Home Videos is just like, how many times do people just get hit in the balls? And we're just like,
I mean, the dog steps on Michael's all the time.
It's just
That's true. But we don't have to record everything.
You don't record it and send it to a national television show. So that's what I think. It's the same thing where you're like, ha 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 ha, but it's like the repercussions are way worse.
Right. So clearly that's a thing that we like to do. And then this franchise is knocking at that door, which is fine enough. But two things. One, I want the franchise to move in a direction where like we can start talking about it not just being that, and maybe an evil we can win. Because all these movies end with, guess what? Death is going to find you. I'm like, I know.
That's why I think I also stopped watching it, because it messed with my anxiety in a way that I didn't like, because I was like, I don't need more fears. If my brain does a good enough job of that'll kill you, that'll kill you, that'll kill you.
Right.
These walls, these are janky as fuck. They're going to fall down on us.
Anything can happen. My mom was always fond of saying a meteorite could fall out of the sky today and kill you. She really, got me at a young age, was constantly telling me that every moment could be your last. So just fucking chill out. Yeah. But the last thing I want to say is, and I'm a little embarrassed about how emotional I got there. It hit me in a way that I found that when I knew all of this was coming. Yeah. But when it got there, I was like, look, I have no doubt Tony Todd wanted to be there. He was an actor. This is one of his franchises. He wanted to be a part of it. But it felt so real in the middle of a Looney Tunes cartoon. Yeah, where you're like, ha ha, none of this is real. And
you're like, oh my God.
Wow, that's icky and real in a way that none of the manufactured family bonding happened in this. So I'm like, okay, I'm going back to what now? Oh, this goddamn MRI machine stuff. And I was just like,
that's how I always am with movies, especially if they're sad movies. I usually can get around it by being like, well, this isn't real. It's not real. But then it hits me differently if like the actor dies in the movie and they're dead in real life, and like maybe they just died or they died the same way their character died, and then you're like, I can't play the it's not real game anymore because it's real. Or if it's a movie based off true events, because then you're like, I can't play it's not real because it is real. And I was like, so those are the kind of things that I usually cannot handle, because the thing that gets me through is being like, this is fiction. Yeah. This is fiction. That actor's still fine. I've seen them on the press circuit. They're good. Right. This is not real sadness.
The credits come up, and the credits have this like CGI penny rolling over all of the like newspaper clippings and whatever of Iris, and you're seeing like this terrible accident, that terrible accident, and then it ends with, these two kids, then their pictures got smashed by the wood, and then it fades to black and it says, in memory of Tony Todd, and I'm just like, no, fuck it, what am I supposed to do with this movie? Like, oh God. I guess I'm just gonna go to bed. Yeah. Which is what I did. How do you feel?
Again, I feel like the penny is the thing. If they had just returned the penny to the fountain, everything would have stopped.
Yeah, it would be helpful if the movie gave them that direction at all.
I feel like it was telling us that the whole time as an audience, but it never told the people in the movie.
So Final Destination 7 is Final Destination Unlucky Penny?
What's the line? Bad penny always turns up?
No, I mean, like, come on. If you look at the original event in the original premonition, the penny returned to the fountain.
Yeah.
No. And that's when it ended.
And this is the only movie that had that. Like, this is circles within circles. We start on the tracks, we end on the tracks. We start with the penny. Like, this is the only one that had an artifact that could be haunted, cursed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's why I'm willing to believe that it wasn't death the whole time at all. It was never death that was killing them.
I feel like death gets a bad name. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I feel like that as humans, you're going to be like, especially like people who aren't religious or thinking old gods or deities or any of that kind of stuff, you're going to be like, well, death is a construct that all of us believe in, regardless of our religions. We all think that death is a real thing. So death is after us.
As a species, we have a problem with personification.
Yeah.
I know people who didn't want to get rid of their cars because they were like named and in the family and stuff like that.
Can I tell you, speaking of things that unexpectedly make you cry, I'm going to try not to cry telling this story.
Oh, boy.
So after my grandma passed away, when I was 18, I had no car, and they gave me her car. And it was like, it was old then, because it was a 95 Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. And I drove that thing till the wheels dropped off, because I was like, in college, I had no money. I drove that thing all the way through college. A few years after it, worked 2 jobs to save up enough money. By the time I turned that thing in, it had like a crack across the windshield that I was tracking with like lipstick. I would mark it to see how much it was growing. It had no air. It had no heat, a cracked radiator. And the analog brake system was bad. The brakes themselves were squeaky as hell. it dripped oil, but not out the bottom. It dripped it out of the top, so it would land on the engine and burn off. So always in the trunk of my car, I kept like antifreeze and oil because I was having to like fill it up so much. And by the time it was time to get rid of it, it was dropping antifreeze so fast that I just started putting water in it. And so by the time it was time to go get this car, I had to trade it in, and I got to the dealership, and I realized I'm getting ready to get rid of this car. They only gave me $200 for it because it was a hunk of junk. And I looked at John at one point, and I was like, do I have to get rid of it? Can I just keep it? And he's like, what for? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I got here, and like I have cursed this car every day for like at least the past 2 years. It's broken down on me so many times, but now that it's time to get rid of it, I'm like, my grandma's in this car.
Yeah.
I can't let it go.
I don't believe in ghosts in the way most people do, but I do believe they exist because we attach all of this stuff to us.
Sorry.
We just drag all of this stuff with us.
Yeah.
And it's just, we make it hard on ourselves.
It had been my grandma had bought that car new, so it had been the car that she had since 95. So I just like, I had been in it so much, I had ridden in it, and then like, it had just become such a dump, and it was a joke that I had such a terrible... It had manual windows and then no air, which is like a whole thing when you got to get in the summer and you got to make a decision about how you want your windows to be because there's no turning back once you start the car. The windshield wipers broke. The whole thing was a mess. And then when it was time to get rid of it, I was like, what if I just keep it? Like,
what if I just keep it as a garden sculpture?
Like people have... I still lived in an apartment, so it would have just been in like...
In a lot.
In the lot. Just like, I was like, the people keep classic cars, like put a cover over it, and I was like, this is my car forever. Honestly, if John had said I'd still have that car. I'd be parked outside this house right now.
Well, now that 2 out of 3 of us have cried, I gotta ask, do we have a question from John?
Oh yeah, and it's so uplifting.
This question is from our listener Kate. If you had to choose a way to die, how would you die?
Oh, this is hard.
Oh, it's not hard for me. In my sleep.
Yeah.
Done. I don't want to know that it happened. I want to live a full day. I want to go to bed at night, and then...
Yeah, I have caveats.
Not get up in the morning.
I want to do it I don't want to do it for a while. I want to stick around for a while.
Yeah. No, I would love to stick around for a while.
And then, I want to have, like, a good dream and then just not fucking wake up.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was
good.
like, whatever it is,
anything.
I want it to be fast, and I don't want to know that it's coming.
Right.
Because I don't want to spend that time, like, dreading it. And I guess there is something to be said for if you know that it's coming, being able to, like, get your affairs in order. But I feel like there's a certain thing to, like, live every day like it's your last. But living with telling people what they mean to you just every day all the time. Don't save it up. And that's all there is. Living authentically and telling people what they mean to you so that if you die,
it's good enough.
You don't have anything left out.
I feel like I agree with you up to a point. Like, I do live my life where I tell people how I feel about them all the time.
That's true.
But I'm really bad about procrastinating about any of the legal part.
Well,
like,
I say fuck capitalism all the time because I don't want to deal with that part. So as far as I'm concerned, I tell y'all I love you all the time. And that's good. Y'all can deal with my money when I'm in the ground.
Yeah, that's what...
So, sorry,
like,
you keep going.
Well, the legal stuff I worry about to a certain extent because I take care of my dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. John and I have already had the conversation. I'm like, if something, especially since I have fucking weird health stuff that happens all the time, I'm like, if something happens to me and I'm gone in a second, can you take over that?
Yeah.
And then we've also had the conversation with our friends. I was like, if John and I both disappear, please take care of our cats.
Sure. The pet thing.
Please come and get them.
So you didn't really answer it.
Well, no, I mean, like, for me, I mean, of course, like, I would love for it to be quick and painless for myself, but I feel like that's not something I get a choice for because I also want the time to do the things that I didn't remember to do because I never remember to do them because they don't matter. It's just like I read a story the other day about a child who went to college and got in a horrible accident and because she was over 18. Her parents had no say because they didn't have any kind of like legal medical thing going on. she was an adult, so then they appointed a guardian from the hospital, and her parents...
Why didn't they do, like, next of kin, right?
They were in a different state, so by the time that they got there, they had already appointed a guardian for this girl. And it's just, like, it makes me like, shit, I need to make guardian paperships for my 21-year-old child so that they call me, and I can be in charge. And it's just, like, but that kind of stuff is, like... So then I'm, like, I Google it, and I look it up, and it costs $80, and I'm like, okay, well... And then I'm gonna be, like... taking my damn time at it, and because he's gonna have to sign it,
and then the urgency goes away, like
exactly
the fire,
and so then it never happens, and then so like this is just like constantly my life. It's just like there's always these little things that like I should do all of these things and I don't, and if it was because it's not imperative, and of course my whole life is like I don't want debt, and I want everything to be easy when I leave, and so if I had the time to make it easy, that would be more important to me, I think, than dying quickly.
I will say also, since I'm my dad's caregiver, there is a certain piece that I have in that we've already filled out and had them filled out for years, the durable medical power of attorney,
right.
Which I would think anybody could just fill that out at any time, right?
You can, yeah.
We should all
you have to get it notarized, but then you have to go to a notary, and then that's so like that right there for us ADHD people, that's like a lot.
You just go to the That's where
I know, but like
I don't
that's
know what
a
you're
lot.
talking about. We only had our passport paperwork filled out for the past 8 months sitting on the table.
It's just like we are really bad about doing anything we have to do.
Well, I tell you what, I'm sober now. I don't
timely
sleep
manner.
anymore. I'm just up all the time, and I'm like, what's my next task?
Just give like Jamie access to
You're
the
just going to be
calendar.
our clerical staff.
It seems like I'm going to fill out some durable medical power of attorney
Jamie,
paper.
where are we at with the 507 report?
Like literally, the passport is literally we just have to take the pictures and take it to the library. We haven't done it.
Oh, I always do mine at the post office. I just go down to the post office and I have them because I'm incapable of doing things that make me go to multiple spots and do. I just take the application.
They don't take pictures at the post office anymore. You have to go get them at CVS or Walgreens.
You can get them at the library too.
Oh, can you get the pictures taken at the library? Can we do that at the one we were planning to?
I think.
Well, then we should just do that. What the fuck, Michael?
We should.
I did mine. God, how many? It's been a few years, like 3 or 4 years ago. I went down and I just scheduled an appointment, and they gave them my application.
I guess it depends on the post office. Just like it depends on the DMV. What they do. Yeah.
We have just devolved into like paperwork.
Talking about
chatter.
death is a real bummer.
It is because it's all about paperwork.
I want it to be fast.
It doesn't have to be.
That's what I want.
It was supposed to be an existential question, and we did not answer it existentially.
I was like, is there anyone that's going to be like, oh, I want my septum piercing to connect to a fan, or I want to get pulled through an MRI? Nobody's going to be like, I want to die brutally.
I'm so inherently... I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this family, you all around this table. And I'm so inherently fatalistic about me, and because I don't have a ton of connection with my own family, that were you to have something to happen to you, I would probably just have a few bad days and then find something big to fall off.
I know.
And that doesn't bother me.
We keep you here.
Man, you're busy. You're busy with all this paperwork. She's got so much paperwork.
Oh, come on. You know John's not taking care of it.
And I don't think that's necessarily such a dark thing, but I understand that all of that is culturally a big, scary cultural thing now that I don't like. I was watching a bunch of Looney Tunes, speaking of this cartoons the other day, like old school 40s and 50s. The casual suicide in those is so funny to me. Well, and today is like, if I Googled it, like the one where he kills himself is like, do you need help? Call this phone number. And I'm like, no, I want to see Donald Duck blow himself up.
Wonder sometimes, because I joke about killing myself or having someone kill me all the time. And I'm like, am I okay? I remember when I was still working at a bakery, I was like super behind on orders and I was super crushed and very busy and just like out of my head with stress. And one of the other girls there had finished up her stuff and she was like, is there anything I can do to help you? And I was like, you could take me out back and shoot me. And she just got totally silent.
And that's a lot to put on somebody.
She was like, what? And I was like, that's a joke.
That's a joke.
She was like, that's not what I expected you to say. You know?
You and I are a lot alike, Jamie. We have a lot of the same dark sense of humors that people don't love.
They don't get it all the time. They just, when they look at you blank faced, they're like, oh, is that not
too far?
Is that not how we tell jokes?
But I'm gonna finish this fucker out with a little celebration of life.
Okay.
You have all just survived another episode of the Creature Popcast. I want to thank our producer, Jamie. She is live and alive at cherrystreetstudios.com or cherry_street_studios on Instagram. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod for all of our music. Our art is made by myself and Lindsay. You can get all of our episodes and our merch and all of our beautiful screaming existence at creaturepop.com. Until next time, John, ooh, you make me live.
Bye, John.
Bye. Keep those pennies in the fountains.